Hey everybody, Ian Bremmer here. A quick take to kick off your week. I'm here at the Kennedy School at Harvard University with my buddy, Steve Walt.
Nice to see you, Ian.
And kind of ground zero for a lot of things happening geopolitically right now. How does it feel to be an independent variable?
It feels better than it felt 2 or 3 weeks ago, when many people at the university were worried whether we were going to actually bend the knee, cave in, give the administration what it wanted, do pretty much what Columbia did. And when the administration, perhaps mistakenly, sent that letter last week or so, and the president responded appropriately, I think there was a huge collective sigh of relief in the Harvard community. And the response that Harvard has gotten now, including from people who don't like Harvard, that someone finally stood up and said, this is unacceptable, has been quite gratifying.
Harvard, huge endowment, not a poor campus, lots of influence in Boston community and around the world, but we're talking about billions of dollars of funding a year. We're talking maybe about not providing green cards for international students, lifeblood of the Kennedy School. What's at stake here, do you think?
What's at stake is the presence of independent centers of thought in a free society. I mean, ultimately, this is an attempt by the administration to bring Harvard as the world's most prominent private university under its control. If you read the letter carefully, they were basically wanting to have control over who got hired, control over what got taught, control over content of curriculum, control over admissions in a variety of different ways, at which point the university is no longer independent. It has to get up every morning saying to itself, gee, what does the president think of what we're doing here? And that means you don't have independent thought. So two big problems. One is, of course, this is going to reduce scientific and technological progress in the United States in a whole series of areas.
Because that's so much of what the funding is actually going for.
That's exactly right, particularly medical research in particular. But it's also important in a free society that you have a wide range of opinions, people who can challenge what's going on and challenge it from the right, challenge it from the left. One of my colleagues is one of the people who discovered the China shock, that a bunch of American jobs had gone to China due to previous economic policies, something that, of course, Trump has played on, et cetera. So the point is you want lots of different ideas in a free society. You don't want the government to be able to control what people can teach, control what people can think, because that's how you get big mistakes. So there's actually more at stake than just scientific research here. It's also independent thought, again, from across the political spectrum.
Does it feel like a resist moment on Harvard campus right now? Is that the kind of, sort of emotion that comes with it?
This isn't a sort of let's go to the mattresses moment. The university did not want to have this fight. I think they were negotiating in good faith to see if they could come to an accommodation that would satisfy some of the concerns, including some legitimate concerns about whether or not a wide enough range of viewpoints was being expressed on campus. So I think they were negotiating in good faith. The one advantage in the government's letter was it was so extreme that we had really no choice at this point. And I think the university now is going to go about its business. It's going to continue to teach. It's going to continue to do the research we want to do. It's going to have to do it with fewer resources. And I think we're all aware of the fact that there's going to have to be some costs paid by the faculty, unfortunately by our students and staff as well. And I think we're willing to do that.
And Harvard is well known, has been ever since I was a kid, as the leading higher education facility in the United States and in the world. Also has gotten itself part of the political tribal fighting going on, and we saw the former president basically ousted under that pressure in part. What do you think Harvard needs to do to be seen not just as the place that you want to go to university, but also as a place that is above the political fray?
Well, universities, because universities are islands of thought, they're never going to be completely separate from the political fray. But I strongly believe in institutional neutrality, that the university should not be taking public positions on political issues that do not directly affect the university. So yes, we do have a public position on, say, student visas, right? That's important for us, but we don't necessarily have a public position and shouldn't have a public position on the war in Ukraine, or what to do about the Middle East, or whether affirmative action was a good thing or not. Gay marriage maybe would be one that you'd say. It's not something where the university takes a position. Individual faculty can say what they want and should, and they can disagree, and they will, and they do. but the president of the university, the board of trustees, et cetera, they don't take a particular institutional position. I think I very much agree with that. That doesn't mean the university won't be political and it won't be politicized as well. I think, first of all, we need to reaffirm that our business is doing independent research and doing teaching, that we are open to a wide range of opinions, that we care about rigor and honesty in research, right? We can disagree. You can even be wrong. Scholars are wrong all the time, but they can't be dishonest, right? So we have very high standards, and we're not advancing a particular agenda other than the pursuit of truth for the benefit of society as a whole.
So, broader point before we close this down, state of democracy in the United States right now, what worries you most, and where do you see the most structural strength and resilience?
What worries me the most is the inability of a set of institutions that I would have thought 20 years ago were pretty rock solid to impede what looks to me like an authoritarian grab for power.
You're talking about the judiciary?
I'm talking about, in part, the judiciary and Congress, right? And the fact that they've been willing to essentially suspend most of their checks and balances role in recent years. I am encouraged, unfortunately, by the degree to which opinion seems to be shifting as to whether or not the direction of the Trump administration is the right course for the country.
Specifically on trade at this point.
Well, trade and on economic effects.
Yeah.
I think people are starting to be uncomfortable with the idea that we're gutting the engine of scientific progress that has driven American technological and scientific leadership for decades, that's going to have consequences sooner rather than later. And I think people are nervous, not everybody, but people are nervous about turning what have been some of our closest friends in the world into adversaries or enemies. I mean, when you pick a fight with Canada, the greatest bit of geopolitical good fortune the United States ever had, having Canada as a neighbor, when you turn them into an adversary, that's not going to end well.
Steve Walt, always good to see you, my friend.
I say, take care.